Today's workshop is Advocacy 101, the basics of systems of advocacy. Most of what I'm talking about is about people with developmental disabilities, but it can be any disability related issue or lots of other issues. The first thing that we need to look at is what is advocacy. Advocacy has a lot of definitions, but in general, it can be defined as taking action in support or opposition of a cause or an issue. It can be done through education, outreach, grassroots organizing. I'm sure there's other ways that I can't think of that it can be done. So usually it's a group that participates in, of course it's going to rain while I'm filming. Of course, so it's a group that does the type of advocacy I'm talking about. Individual advocacy is more one-on-one, like changing the situation of a person, but what I'm talking about is systems advocacy. And that focuses on changing laws and policies that affect large groups of people, like people across the state. So individual advocacy might be someone advocating with Social Security to receive their benefits or to see if they qualify for benefits, whereas systems advocacy might be making a change to the way a state program is run. So why should you care about advocacy? Being part of systems advocacy is going to benefit you as an individual because it changes the system that provides you with supports and services. In addition, all the tools you learn as a part of a group can also be used in individual advocacy efforts. So, I can give you a lot of reasons to get involved in advocacy. Some of the main reasons that I find are that I want to make a difference. I also find there's strength in numbers. And policymakers are busy. Everybody's talking to them about everything, and they're expected to know about everything. They need people like me, parents and people with disabilities, expertise and perspective on things. I've seen a lot of reasons for people not being involved in advocacy. So I want to talk about some of those specifically. So some people will tell me I'm afraid. These are important people. I can't do this. So I try to help other people I try to support other people so that they can talk to their legislators. It's easier in numbers if you have a buddy or a couple of buddies. And you have to remember, policymakers are people too. Another reason is I might make someone mad at me. I find that legislators want and need to hear about how the system for people with disabilities is working or not working. I don't find them mad ever because you're telling them how it's working or not working. Another reason that I hear often is I don't know enough to advocate. Sometimes you don't need to know a whole lot of details. You need to know your situation. You need to be a real story when you talk to the legislator. There are groups that can help you with details if you're looking for details about policy or changes to policy. What you need is your story. Another reason is I don't have time to advocate. any little bit that you can do makes a huge difference. And sometimes little steps add up to a big difference. Can you write a letter? Can you make a phone call? Maybe it's not necessarily a visit. You can be as active as you choose to be. They won't listen to me is another reason I hear. They're elected, chosen by us to represent us. It's their responsibility to listen. And most of them really been doing this for years. Most of them are really eager to hear from their constituents. I hear this a lot. Nothing will change. What's the point? So I know services in some states haven't happened until parents and people with disabilities organized to work on those services. In-home services hasn't happened until people worked together, grassroots, figuring out the best way they could. People just like you and me. That's the point, is that it does happen. It does work. There's been lots of drastic changes. The state I live in went from mostly institutional care to mostly home services. So, who are your legislators? Generally, you can go to your state legislative website. There's a spot where you can enter your home address. Not only are they going to give you your state and your representative and your state senator, they typically give you your U.S. congressman and your state's 2 U.S. senators. If that doesn't work, call one of the organizations that work with people with disabilities. They're going to help you find out who your legislators are. Contacting with those legislators is essential for that system's advocacy. There's a lot of ways you can contact them. Call and visit their office. If you go to public events, if you go to public functions and you bump into them, go introduce yourself. Give them your little 30-second spiel about, I have a daughter with a developmental disability, and I may be contacting you sometimes about the services and how they work for her. That's all it takes. Make sure they know you. Make sure they see your face. Make sure that they hear your name. They're going to forget your name, but every time you see them. Different ones of those disability organizations that I talked about have events around people with around the legislators and policy for people with developmental disabilities. Call them, get involved, get on their mailing list, virtually, in person. Even if you don't say anything, attend. Some of you are going to be comfortable in attending key legislative committees at the Capitol. A few of y'all are going to be comfortable testifying, telling your story. I tell people, write it out. It's easier to tell that way. Other things you can do, emails, letters, join email lists, those still exist. Facebook, Twitter. Almost every legislator I bump into has a Facebook page. A few don't, but almost everyone does. Follow the media. Congratulate them on their successes. Congratulate them on things that they're obviously proud of. So,